Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here, and here is another video for you. And this is a great video if you are looking at using your free hit for blank game week 28. I will go through my favorite and best free hit team for game week 28. And I did mention before, it's a blank game week. There is only 7 fixtures to be played. So this is a decent time to use a free hit because we're 3 games down. Some of the sides, Man City, Manchester United, we've got double ups or triple ups in some of those teams. They aren't going to be playing. Brighton as well, who we've all got a lot of players in there right now due to these double game weeks Brighton have had and have got coming up. So some of us need to use a free hit. And this team I've created, or squad, shall I say, I've created a full squad. I think this is a really, really strong free hit. I'm really excited to show all of you this free hit. Goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers, and subs. So many good options. It's even tempting me to want to play my free hit. Now I'm looking at this. I'm looking at it because I've only got 9 men in my own personal team right now for next week, and that's with a transfer. And this is making me look at it thinking this could really be a great time to maximize because there's some pretty good fixtures for some of these teams. And I will go through that. I will share the screen now. If you've got this far, please like the video, subscribe if you are new here, and get your comments in already for Game Week 28. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any questions or any problems for your team. But let's get straight into it, and let's go into the goalkeeper for this free hit. And just before I actually go through my keeper, and just to let everyone know that's on their free hit, if you free hit your team, you do lose your transfer for game week 29. So you don't roll over a transfer. So basically what that means, if you were planning to roll a transfer in game week 28, so you're not transferring, you click free hit, you only get 1 for game week 29. You don't get 2. Also, it's unlimited transfers, but it's not unlimited budget. So it's free hit. You can still pick 3 players per team, but you still got to play within your budget. So let's start with goalkeepers. And you can see here on the screen, Nick Pope, the best goal scoring keeper this season. Nottingham Forest away. It's the early game. They say never back the early kickoff, but you'd probably back Newcastle to come out and win this game, or at least draw. They've had a lot of 0-0s on the road. They've even won games by a goal to nil quite regularly. So Nick Pope, for me, is still the strongest goalkeeper for this game week. Loves bonus points, loves save points as well. So Nick Pope is my number 1. So let's go into what is a back 3. And like I mentioned before, this squad is a squad. So there's a full bench. So if you don't like the back 3 I'm playing in and you do end up using a free hit similar to this, you can change it around. And this is just the formation. I like 3-4-3. Might be better off with the 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 5-3-2, whatever you want to play. So let's go with Kieran Trippier there. He's going to be a popular choice. Always worth doubling up on that Newcastle defense. I know they've been letting in a lot more goals of late, but this is a good fixture for them. Kieran Trippier did get the assist versus Wolves, and until Wolves got that equaliser, he was on 10 points, which was also for the bonus. So Trippier, popular option. A lot of people sold him. I think there'll be people scrambling to get him back in their teams for this weekend. Then alongside him there, I've gone with Pinnock. I was going to go with, say, Reece James at Chelsea. So here's an alternative option to Pinnock. Again, though, I'd need a downgrade elsewhere because I needed a budget because I didn't necessarily have the budget to have both Chilwell, who you can see there, and Reece James. So I went with Pinnock, Brentford asset, 4.4 million, really cheap. Leicester at home. You expect Brentford to come out and win this. I know they've just lost to Everton, and they do have the midweek game against Southampton as well. So fingers crossed there's no injuries. But Pinnock for me, really good pick. I've got another defensive option on the bench that you could bring in as well. And then Ben Chilwell scored against Leicester. Mentioned him in my wildcard team for Game Week 27. You can find that video on my uploads as well, which goes through the best wildcard all the way up until Game Week 30. And Chilwell was on there, as I just mentioned, scored against Leicester, loves to attack. Everton at home, a team very hit and miss. They get the odd win 1-0 at home now. They've obviously got the Ginger Mourinho and Deitch, but they've still got that, times where they just capitulate like 4-0 to Arsenal. So Chelsea picked up a little bit of form, we think, with the Champions League win and the win against Leicester on the weekend. So Ben Chilwell is going to be a very, very popular choice. I think a lot of people are going to bring him in ready for game week 29, which is 2 games for Chelsea, and as their transfer for game week 28. If you're on a free hit, he is an absolute must-have. May also be a captain shout for me because he gets so far forward. He tends to score. He almost plays like a left-sided attacking midfielder. Gets bonus, gets clean sheet points possibly in this one as well against Everton. So he is a captain shout, a real curveball captain shout. So let's go into that midfield. And as you can see, let's just quickly zoom out a little. You just saw a little bit of my strikers there, which I'll obviously go through next. So I've got the 4 in midfield, and I've gone triple Arsenal, and I have on this free hit. And I'll tell you why. Palace at home, is it what, 12, 13 games now without a win? Some pressure on Vieira. Ødegaard scored against Fulham. Martinelli scored against Fulham. He's getting an assist. He's getting in the right positions as well. You've got to have both of them. With the form they're on, you've got to have them both. And then Saka, if you're on a free hit, you just put him in because he's on pens. The captain's armband's on him for now in this free hit team, just because the captain's armband is on this comes straight from my main team where you put your team ID into the transfer planner. But to be honest, I think there's better captain options in this game week than Saka right now. Ødegaard and Martinelli are the in-form midfielders. But I think you have all 3 on a free hit because you're hedging your bets. Similar to those on a free hit in game week 27 who have Matoma, Alexis and Solly March, you're hedging your bets. And I think you can do the same in this game because Arsenal could win this 3-4 goals to 0. You could get points from Ødegaard, Saka and Martinelli. So for me, triple up in midfield. And then on the far side there, you can see Son Heung-min is back in there. One of my favourite players from my side, Spurs. He's got Southampton away, who have picked up form. They've picked up form. They're getting results. They're starting to keep clean sheets. But Spurs have 1 game a week at the moment. They're out of all the competitions. And we all know Spurs are very strong when they only have the 1 competition to focus on. Son has got his goal in the league on the weekend as well against Nottingham Forest. He got the goal to make it 3-1 in that game. A lovely finish too. And Southampton is a team he loves to score goals against. For those that remember that were playing FPL a couple of seasons ago where he scored 4 goals away from home at St Mary's, this is a stadium that he absolutely loves to play at. And this is a team he absolutely loves to score against. So for me, Son Heung-min is back on our teams for free hits. If you're using a free hit, he has to be in there, in my opinion. I know the form's not been there this season, but this is a team he likes to play. Spurs are on that 1 game a week, like I mentioned before. And even a goal return from him in this would be really, really big on a free hit and can give you a nice boost. So he rounds off the midfield 4 for me. So let's go to that front 3. And let's start with Ollie Watkins, returned against West Ham. That's now 6 returns in his last 7 games for Aston Villa. He plays Bournemouth at home, which is a tricky game. Bournemouth picked up that great result against Liverpool. But Watkins is scoring goals. Villa are scoring goals. I think he's a very, very obvious pick in that front 3. Tony's another one as well that you could have instead of Watkins. So Tony is an alternative to Watkins. He's someone could have easily slotted in there. He's going to have higher ownership than Watkins. You almost might want to put him in for the EO and as a bit of a shield. But I'm liking Watkins. And then next to him, you've got Havertz. Again, another one you could probably play Tony instead of Havertz. But I just think Everton, like I mentioned before, they can capitulate away from home. Chelsea don't have any games this week. No FA Cup games in the week. No Champions League in the week. They've already played. Havertz is playing in that central role, scored against Leicester. So I think he's actually a really, really good option for this week on a free hit. Obviously, I know I've titled this the best free hit team. But I will say in this front 3, Tony could still slot in there as well. I like Watkins. I like Havertz. But Tony could become either one of them. For me, I'm edging towards Havertz. because I think Chelsea will beat Everton. And I'm edging towards Watkins because it's 6 returns and 7. And I just prefer those fixtures. I know Brentford are playing Leicester, who are out of form and out of sorts at the moment. But they did actually show enough against Chelsea that I think they could give Brentford a tough game. And let's go to my final striker. It's got to be Harry Kane. The next best scoring striker after Haaland. If Haaland hadn't, I know he did get them, but if he hadn't got those early on hat tricks, those incredible hat tricks, back to back, and he kept that to just maybe one goal or so, he wouldn't be off Haaland right now in terms of goals. He's on 20 Premier League goals again this season. Harry Kane, absolutely brilliant. And again, Southampton, just like Son, it's a team Kane loves to play against. He scored a hat-trick against them before in the past. He scored at St. Mary's in the past. Nearly every game, I think he scored at St. Mary's, with the exception of potentially 2 in his career, maybe 1. And there was even that game when Son did score those 4 goals. Kane assisted all 4. And he also scored. He ended up with 5 returns from 5 that day. He's had some really good days out at St. Mary's before. But it's an improved Southampton team as well. So it will be a tough game for Spurs. But I think if you're on a free hit, you have to put Harry Kane in there. Again, he is a captain option. As is Watkins, as is Saka, as is Martinelli, Odegaard, and Chilwell. There's plenty of captain options in this, even Trippier. I think it's going to be a really interesting week to see who a lot of managers captain. So let's go down to my bench. So I've got a very, very flexible bench here. Goalkeeper, David Raya. So, he's easily interchangeable up there with Nick Pope if you don't want to play the 2 Newcastle defensive players. And then Almiron, coming off the back of a goal against Wolves. He's had a really productive season for Newcastle. Again, you could take out one of these Arsenal midfielders and you could bring Almiron in. Pedro Porro is probably someone that you could easily swap with Pinnock. Got the assist against Nottingham Forest. Spurs aren't great for clean sheets, in my opinion, away from home. And I'm saying that even as a Spurs fan. But he's on free kicks. He hit the bar from one against Wolves a couple of game weeks ago. Got the assist on the weekend. He's looking really, really good going forward. I've got a feeling he's going to get another return in this game. So Porro is someone you could swap over for the likes of Pinnock. And then the last one, I've gone with Alex Moreno, 4.4 million, budget option in there. I mentioned before, I'd like to get Reece James in there. But obviously, I've gone with Chilwell. Can't really trust James this season. He either gets injured or he's sick at the moment. So for me, I'm happy with just Chilwell and Alex Moreno. He's actually got, I think it's 3 or 4 attacking returns. 2 attacking returns, 3 to 4 returns in his time at Villa. And he's been coming off around the 60 to 70th minute mark when sometimes there's been clean sheets banked up and he then comes off. So he's someone to look out for. And again, if there's any late injury problems in your team or someone needs to sub on, Moreno is a really good option with that Bournemouth game at home as well. So let's zoom out here and I can show you the full squad. So let's do this here. So that is the full team on the screen right now. You can see it there. So in goal, we've got Nick Pope, Trippier, Pinnock, and Chilwell at the back. So it's a back 3, 4 in midfield, Son, Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli. Forward 3, Watkins, Havertz, and Kane. And then a bench of Raya, Almiron, Pedro Porro, and Alex Moreno. And if you scroll up here, this would be 0 points cost because it's a free hit. 0.3 million in the bank, still left over on this free hit if you've got the budget. There'll be managers out there with a bigger budget than myself. And it's got a predicted points of 57 points, which might not sound like much, but there's 7 games. So if there's those extra 3 games, you're potentially going to probably get 20 points from those extra 3 games, which means this team's potentially a 75 to 80 point team, which isn't bad. If we do a couple of quick changes here, so let's do a couple of subs. Pinnock out, in comes Pedro Porro. Does that change anything? It actually brings it down to 53. David Raya in, Nick Pope out, moves it back up to 56. So then you could maybe do Porro out, Pinnock in, 59 points. Almiron in. And let's do Erdegaard out. 57 points. So there's lots of different things you can fiddle with here. Alex Moreno in, 55 points. Let's do Son out and Erdegaard in. 59 points. So there's lots of different workarounds you can do with this team. So if you play this one on the screen now, this is getting predicted to get 59 points. So even more points. So that is my free hit squad. Here's the full squad. Let's put the full squad on the screen, and you can see it there. Full squad is there. 0 points, as this is a free hit squad. So there you have it. Blank game week 28, 7 fixtures. Free hit, as you can see there, it can be done. Points can be earned. Green arrows are there for the taking. You don't necessarily need to use a free hit, but if you are, for me, this is one of the best free hit teams you can use. But let me know what you think in the comments. Like this video if you haven't done already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I will see you all in the next one. I'm FPLMattDay, and stay tuned on the channel for more content prior to the Game Week 28 deadline. Bye for now.